I'm a robot vacuum cleaner, so yeah, I got one gig. I suck up dirt, so pardon my inferiority complex about Geico, who does so much more. Like, not only could they save their customers money on car insurance, but they got fast and friendly claim service too, and an award-winning mobile app. Plus access to licensed agents 24/7. Who am I kidding? I can't even do corners. Uh-oh, choking hazard.
Popcorn kernels.
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
Pardon the interruption, but I'm Michael Wilbon and Tony. The world's oldest man is going to celebrate his 113th birthday with sponge cake and milk. How would you celebrate that?
Tony Kornheiser, 113. All I want is a strong pulse and a clean diaper.
Oh, there we go. You had to wander toward the bathroom humor.
At 113.
You know what I thought they were going to say? Not
That's
sponge cake, a sponge bath. That's what I thought. And milk. Sponge bath, 113?
And a clean diaper.
You kill him, though, at 113 with a sponge bath, right?
Yes, yeah. Well, it depends on who. Yeah. I don't know that I'd make 114 if that happened. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. We can find out in 10 years. In today's episode, the Rockets roll, LeBron faces the Lakers, and Tony Dungy joins us for 5 minutes. And we begin today with the details of Roger Goodell's contract extension, as reported by Yahoo. Goodell's new deal, it's only 10% guaranteed money. 90% is tied to the health and performance of the NFL, subject to annual review. Apparently, the new deal precludes Goodell from handpicking the chairman of the compensation committee, as he had been doing. So now it really seems like Goodell is working for the owners. Wilbon, are you buying that Jerry Jones won the battle?
Not at all. Jerry can run out there and say whatever he wants to say. Roger Goodell, what he's going to, the NFL, which is confronting a troubled season while still getting about, 30 million eyeballs at 1 o'clock per game.
Yeah.
What, they're not going to have any health and performance over the next 5 years while Roger Goodell is commissioner? No, Jerry got one thing he might have wanted, and some other owners wanted it well, oversight. Oversight seems to be the key word in all of this reporting, and fine. Roger Goodell is not going to be holding out for food stamps toward the end of this contract.
There's a highfalutin notion out there that commissioners rule the game, and that's not true. We don't have Supreme Court justices doing this. We don't have war heroes doing this. We got people who are appointed by the owners and can be removed by the owners. So, I understand that. Right? Did Roger Goodell get what he wanted? Yeah, he probably got what he wanted. I would tell you that 10 years from now, Roger Goodell also said he was going to quit at the end of this
contract,
But I think the owners are trying to take it back. Here's what we don't know.
From whoever's in the seat of commissioner.
Yeah.
It ain't going to flow out of Goodell's account back to Jerry Jones.
Okay, here's what we don't know. There's no particular reporting on this, and there isn't. How many owners are really upset at the protests over the national anthem? How many owners are really upset at the continuing player unrest about Thursday night? How many owners are sort of really upset at the fighting on the field?
And how many hold Goodell responsible for that?
And this is it. And this is what you don't know. So there may be this sort of underground current that says, we'll give him this, but because he's got to produce 90% for us to be satisfied of his salary, we're taking back the game.
And so what percentage, if you had to guess, if we had to get the film out of the PTI vault in 5 years, what do we think Goodell's going to wind up earning on this contract? 60%, 80%, 25?
At least 80. But I get the notion that I would make is that Jerry Jones may have lost the battle and may have won the war. Because we both think this. People may say he looks like a fool. He's not a fool. He's not a fool.
There was one owner quoted as saying in all that reporting that Jerry got his bahula kicked.
Maybe.
Everybody knew it.
Maybe. There's a longer play here.
Lot of big talk coming out of all places, Cleveland, and about, of all teams, the Brownies. The club's new GM, John Dorsey, slammed the previous management team and the current players in a Cleveland radio interview, during which he said, quote, "I'll come straight out with it. The guys who were here before, that system, they didn't get real players," close quote. Dorsey was more or less denouncing an analytics-based system, which wasn't long on experienced scouting. Tony, where does this leave Cleveland's current roster of players?
If I'm one of their players, I have just heard the new general manager, invested with a lot of power, saying I'm not a real player.
That's right.
So I'm insecure about that because as soon as he can get some hands on some real players, I'm going to go out the door. Now, if I was Hugh Jackson, at this and I heard that, my first reaction would be to say, he's 100% right. How can I coach these bozos?
Because you want another chance with this guy's players.
But my second reaction would be, he just slammed everybody who was here before he got here.
Except the coach, really.
And I got here before he got here.
Yeah, but he slammed the system of acquiring players when Hugh Jackson is not Bill Parcells as a coach. He doesn't have the grand stature to go out and shop for the groceries before he cooks the meal.
That's right.
So Hugh Jackson can make that case, and he should be making it very privately in this guy's office. But John Dorsey, he's talking a lot of okey-doke, as we used to say.
Yes, he is.
All right? So he goes out there, and by the way, you know me, I don't believe nearly in analytics as much as certain staffs do in certain sports. But Dorsey is basically saying, I got a better way of getting players, and he better be able to prove it.
Well,
quickly.
Cleveland is, as we know, a clown show. Their owner is not any good. Their previous administrative and executive people were obviously not any good. I personally don't think the coach is any good because his career record right now there is 1-28.
But that's tied to Cleveland. He had a better record when he was in
My dog
Oakland.
could go 1-28. Yes, I understand that.
Better record
but I don't think that anybody can go to sleep at night with both eyes closed. No, you have to have one eye open in Cleveland.
Man, but I tell you what, when this guy has a couple of draft classes.
Let's see. What if he's no good?
He gets 2.
What if he
gets all he gets?
That's right.
He gets 2.
That's it.
He better perform.
Lonzo Ball and the rest of the Lakers, talking about Cleveland, they're playing in Cleveland tonight. Although LeBron James has been critical of LeVar Ball, he has been praising of Lonzo Ball. LeBron said, quote, I think he's going to be a really, really good point guard in our league. Probably a great point guard if he continues to work on his craft, which seems like he does. They got a good one, unquote. In light of this, Mike, what do you think the odds are that Lonzo Ball and free agent to be LeBron James will share the same locker room this coming season?
I knew we were going to go down this path before long. Again, we'll start this conversation by saying we have no proof of anything. I don't even know if there's a smoking gun. Well, there is a couple of smoking guns, but nonetheless, I don't know, 51% chance. I think LeBron can stay in Cleveland 1 year, but if he goes anywhere, it's L.A. to me.
You think he goes to the Lakers or the Clippers?
Lakers.
I think he goes to the
I don't think the Clippers are in play for LeBron at this point.
Here's what I think is in play. Because when you get LeBron James, you are asking him to have a championship right then and there.
Chance to win.
You're not getting him to build a team.
No.
He completes the team. But when you get LeBron James, you also get LeBron James, the coach, and LeBron James, the GM. Now, Luke Walton is not Pat Riley. And Rob Pelinka is not Jerry West. So if LeBron James goes to the Lakers and says the following thing, Lonzo Ball, he's no good. I want you to bring in this guy or this guy.
But he doesn't think that.
He doesn't. By the end of the year, we will have a better read on Lonzo Ball.
Of course we will.
And if Lonzo Ball isn't worth the number 2 overall or something like that, and LeBron says, I'm only going to be here for 2-3 years, I want that guy.
But I think what you have to do is, if you said he's not going to go build, you don't want to start all over. You want to have the nucleus of players that the Lakers have right now. And by the way, they look pretty good some nights. They really do.
Do you remember?
You want to have them together.
When he went back to Cleveland and they had drafted Andrew Wiggins. How many games did they play together? The answer would be
0.
0 would be the correct answer because he said, get me Kevin Love.
And Wiggins, and Wiggins was a completely different type of player than Lonzo Ball, though Wiggins was a better player than Lonzo Ball. Look, I can't imagine that LeBron would be going anywhere. If he goes anywhere, he's going to want the ball in his hand 40 minutes a night. He's not trying to do that.
What if LeBron says, we got to get rid of him because I'm tired of the dad?
Do you know what you might? Well,
I mean, this is in play, right? Everything becomes in play.
It's something easier than that. Get rid of the dad. Throw him out.
It's not that easy.
Yeah, it is.
As we've seen, it's not that easy.
Oh, it's that easy. It is. The Houston Rockets won their 11th straight last night, thumping the Hornets by 24, which is what the Rockets have been doing throughout this streak. They've won by an average of 17 points a game, Tone. They're 12-0 with Chris Paul, and Coach Mike D'Antoni has built a team with such varied lineups. The Rockets are statistically better with either CP3 or the Beard on the floor than they are with both at the same time on the floor. Tony, Houston is plus 22 with just Harden, plus 38 with just Paul. So which do you want to assign more credit?
Fascinating that you can just get rid of LeVar Ball. I'm working with Sergeant Joe Friday over here.
You've seen some parents tossed out the door.
Let me
he wouldn't
answer
be the
this question.
first.
The answer is James Harden. Chris Paul is a pure point guard wherever he goes. His hands are on the ball wherever he goes. He has to make no accommodation because
his usage rate ain't as high as James Harden's.
Okay. James Harden is now changing for the second time in 2 years. James Harden 3 years ago was a total ball-dominating guard. Mike D'Antoni, who's great with point guards,
he is.
Convinced James Harden to change his game. I think he led the league in assists last year.
And Harden didn't change, though. He still got the ball.
Okay, but he gave the ball to somebody else.
The only fingerprints on the ball are his.
But he gave the ball to somebody else, and this year, he's changing as well. The fascinating thing to me is that statistic that you quoted, that when they're out there together, they're not as good.
They're good.
Not great. As good as they are when they're out there individually.
They need time to figure that out, but this is why
I would give credit to D'Antoni.
The credit goes to D'Antoni.
That's what I would do.
Because they like practicing with him and being around him and playing and listening and exchanging theories. He's a veteran guys who have their own ideas, and D'Antoni incorporates that. He does. Now, the test, though, for the Rockets, it ain't November or December or February or March.
You discount
No,
this.
I don't discount it. It's great to watch. Good for them. The test is in late May or June. Can they get that far? That's the test.
Oklahoma City, another team that's trying to get that far, beat Indiana in Indiana last night. In so doing, Paul George, Russell Westbrook, and Carmelo Anthony combined for, wait for it, 10 baskets in 45 shot attempts.
The dog could do that.
That really stinks. Carmelo offered this interesting explanation, and I quote, "I think we're not used to open shots, maybe. The way we get the shots, the way we get the ball, none of us are used to having it in that position. Maybe that wide open sometimes, I don't know. We still got to make shots," unquote. Wilbon, are you buying Carmelo's theory that they're simply too open?
No, and I know how this happens in the locker room, and you know how it happens to a guy who's very chatty and accommodating to people like us in the locker room, and Carmelo's always been that. He'll ruminate. You know, he'll say, well, maybe it's this, maybe it's that, and that's not a theory. Tony, I don't know if this is going to work with those guys. I mean, they had a couple of games where they won 2 or 3 in a row, and they sort of go back and they lose. I think they lost at home to Charlotte one night. They don't look like they particularly have anything going. I think they're trying as hard as they can. I think Russell Westbrook is trying God knows everything, but it hasn't happened yet.
Carmelo Anthony, over the course of his career, has said a lot of very foolish things. This is top
That's
5.
Not foolish.
This
Don't
is top 5.
say that. Come
because
on.
The first thing that you do, you spend 1 billion hours of your life, if you're a basketball player, on an open court, taking open shots. It's the first thing you learn to do is knock down an open shot.
But in games, you don't have them. In games, your shot shouldn't be open.
This is simply nonsense. Now, you are saying that you will question whether Houston can do this late in the season. I wouldn't even look critically now or even in a couple of months at Oklahoma City.
All-Star break.
Well, I just think in March, because you can get hot late. You can figure it out. They have to figure something out.
They do.
That's what they have to do.
Yeah.
And I don't know. And Paul George, who was booed last night, and justifiably because he left that franchise.
Yeah.
Paul George took no shots in the fourth quarter because he's running away from shots now. He's running away from shots.
Tony, again, the key thing is they have to figure this out. Billy Donovan's a really good and creative coach. He and Westbrook are going to have to figure this out more than anybody else.
Let's take a break. Coming up, how much say should Aaron Rodgers have about playing this weekend? We're going to ask a man who coached Peyton Manning, Tony Dungy.
We'll also ask him how he expects the big Patriots-Steelers matchup to play out.
I think you wait till about 60 games. If it's like this in 60 games, they're no good.
Well, you can't do anything after 60.
Well, I'm saying that's...
Pardon the Interruption is presented by Captain Morgan. Holiday like a captain. Please drink responsibly. Part of Happy Hour. And in part by One A Day Men's and Women's.
Help protect what matters with the ADT Safer, Smarter New Year's sales event. For a limited time, get an ADT Security Starter Kit. Everything you need to get started with ADT Pulse, including a security panel, keypad, a motion sensor, and 2 entry sensors. Plus, there's an indoor camera and key fob, all professionally installed for only $49. It's a $599 savings that comes with the warm, confident feeling of safety at home. Requires 36-month monitoring contract, QSP, and Easy Pay. Activation and early termination fees may apply. Certain markets excluded. Licenses available at ADT.com. Florida EF 0001121. Louisiana F1639. Visit ADT.com/podcast. Hurry. This special offer now ends 1/21.
Welcome back to Pardon the Interruption. Presented by Captain Morgan. Part of Happy Hour.
High-level sources are telling me that Week 15 of the NFL season kicks off tonight on NBC. We are pleased to welcome back one of the stars of Football Night in America, Mr. Tony Dungy. Tony, we're going to start with this. You were a defensive player. You were a defensive coach. With what you see now, has your appetite for the violence in the game, particularly from the defensive side, has that changed at all?
Well, I think we're a little smarter about the violence, and you still want to be physical. You want to hit, but you have to think about safety. There's no doubt about it. Me, as a 62-year-old now, I'm glad that I played as safe as I did, and the game was as safe as it was back in the 70s. We've got to continue to make it safer. Do you want to take the physicalness out? No. I still like the good, tough, hard-fought defensive games, but we want to make it safe.
Tony, you've got Patriots. Well, we're all going to see Patriots and Steelers this weekend. And Mike Tomlin told you recently that the game would be fireworks. What did you read that to mean exactly?
Well, he talked about what was going to be riding on the game, and it has come to that. But he also said in that same interview, he told me, I use my press conferences to send messages to my team. I don't just talk to the fans and to the media. I talk to my team as well. And I think he was trying to get that across to many of his young guys. Hey, you don't know what this is going to be like, what's going to be riding on it, what we're going to have to do to win. It's going to be an electric atmosphere, and I think that's what he's looking forward to.
You want to take a shot at who's going to win that game for us?
You know, I'm a Steeler from way back, but I think it's going to be tough for them with Gronkowski back and Ryan Shazier not playing for Pittsburgh. That's the difficult matchup I think they're going to have in the middle of the field. I look for Tom Brady to exploit that. Who wins home field advantage? Pittsburgh's going to need a big game. I can't pick it. I can't pick it.
All right, we'll let you off the hook on that. Let's move to Aaron Rodgers, and everybody is looking forward to see what Aaron Rodgers does in Carolina. You coached Peyton Manning. They are on a similar level. How do you decide how much to protect your star, or do you just trust him because of who he is?
You trust him. Mike McCarthy's been with Aaron. He'll know the body language. He'll know how he looks in practice. He'll know what he can do and can't do. But even those great ones, it's going to take a quarter or so out there in the competition to get his feet on the ground and figure out where he is. I think the fact that they're playing him and they're ready to go, that tells me something. But McCarthy will figure that out based on how Aaron looks in practice this week.
Tony, I want to follow up on that for a second. Quarterbacks, star franchise quarterbacks, are so important to the franchise and the town that they're playing in. When you make a decision as a team about a quarterback of that stature coming back from injury, and you had this with Peyton, how much does that player, as opposed to just a run-of-the-mill guy, a normal veteran, how much does that player have to say about his return to the lineup?
He has a little bit to say about it. But you're not going to put him out there. It's going to be the doctors, everyone else. You are making decisions for the whole franchise. People used to get mad at us and get mad at me in particular when we had things locked up and we wouldn't play our starters those last couple of games. Oh, you ought to go for it, try to be undefeated, or you're cheating the fans. But if I got Peyton Manning hurt in a game that didn't mean anything to us, shame on me. And so you think about that. That is a factor in your decision making, not only as a head coach, but as an organization.
We get you out of here on this. We can't look at this game between the Colts and Broncos without saying that these are two very disappointing teams this year. Has a Broncos head coach, Vance Joseph, been put in a position to succeed in your mind?
You know, you inherit a very good team, but with a quarterback problem. I thought that at the beginning of the year. Everyone's saying this is a potential Super Bowl team. I just didn't see them getting that type of quarterback play. I think the expectations were way too high, and people are saying it's such a disappointment. I didn't expect them to have this record, but I thought they'd be in the middle of the pack based on what kind of quarterback play we could expect to get. So I think he was put in a tough situation.
And he's also got John Elway saying that his players are soft and that it's tremendously disappointing. If you're a head coach, you cannot feel good about that, right?
No, you don't want the boss ever saying you're soft. But that softness, you get a lot harder when you put a few points on the board. I'll say that.
Tony, thank you so much for joining us.
Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
You can watch Football Night in Indianapolis starting at 7:30 Eastern. Let's take one last break. Still to come, could Manny Machado end up with a surprise suitor?
And, Tony, you notice the Bulls have won 4 straight?
You didn't like that.
No. Should they be happy about that?
Well, I don't know about them, but you want them to lose them all.
I want the Duke kid.
Right.
Pardon the Interruption is presented by Captain Morgan. Holiday like a captain. Please drink responsibly. Part of Happy Hour.
Happy time, people. Happy 27th birthday, Robert Covington. Everybody knows about the high-drafted, highly publicized 76ers like Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons and Markelle Fultz. But this guy has played more games for Philly than anybody else on their current roster. He averages 15 points a game, and Covington just signed a 4-year, $62 million extension. So he doesn't just trust the process, he loves the process.
43% on three-point shooting. A guy from the G League or D League went to Proviso West. Tell me, one other guy in the NBA, Proviso West in Chicago. Tell me.
Doc Rivers.
Very good.
Happy anniversary, Jameis Winston. And that was not in my ear. I knew that.
That's good.
On this day 4 years
Doc
ago,
like
you became
that.
the second straight freshman to win the Heisman. Like Derek Carr, the Raiders, Jameis Winston's having a very disappointing season.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay only 4-9. Winston has a lackluster 14 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Passer rating is 18th in the league. Not what we expected.
No, this is a big step back. Mariota right now is ahead of Winston, and you're going to compare them all the time because they came out
Same
and
draft.
up together.
Happy trails, Mark Price, the former All-Star with the Cleveland Cavaliers, was released today.
What?
As head coach of the UNC Charlotte 49ers. Price lasted only 2+ years
crazy.
of a 5-year contract.
Crazy.
His record was 30-42 overall, 3-6 this season. Asked about being fired, Price said, quote, "I'm still stunned, to be honest."
His son is a senior on the team, their second leading
Remember
scorer.
how good a player he was?
Great a player, great point guard. Long before everybody else was stopping and popping from three, Mark Price could do it.
Deadly shooter.
Good at
Deadly
it.
shooter. No errors today. Let's go to the big finish.
Let's do it.
Kenny Rosenthal reports the White Sox have emerged as the most aggressive suitor for Manny Machado. Okay, Mr. Chicago, that makes sense.
They must think they're further along than a lot of people would after 1 year of rebuilding. They must. The Angels got second baseman Ian Kinsler from the Tigers. Is that a big deal? He had a bad year.
4-time All-Star, 1-time Gold Glove. Solid guy.
Okay.
Solid guy.
Now,
Now,
Machado,
where are they going?
not that
No,
good.
Not Machado, no. The Bulls won their 4th in a row with Nico Mirotic. Yeah. You still want to dump him?
Not while he's averaging 20. And not after a 29-point game. But when he goes back down to single digits,
Then you'll dump him.
you can heave ho. 19-year-old Christian Pulisic won the U.S. Soccer Male Player of the Year. Was anybody else in that race?
I don't know. Why don't we call Alexi Lalas about Wonder Boy?
Call him.
I mean, I don't know. What do I know about
It's the best
soccer?
player maybe we've ever had. Most
Good for him.
talented.
Last one, the Vegas Golden Knights can become the fastest expansion team to 20 wins in NHL history tonight. Will they beat the Penguins?
Yes, you know why? They're 11-2-1 at home. You like that?
I do. Wow, we're out of time. We'll try and do better the next time. I'm Tony Kornheiser.
I'm Mike Wilbon. Same time tomorrow, Knuckleheads. You can get the PTI podcast on the ESPN app or Apple Podcast.
To the Mastronardi family, thank you, Campari Tomatoes.